And welcome back, Source Nation. Welcome back. You're listening live right here on the Ladies Lounge. I am your host, Kathy B., and I'm so excited to have two beautiful and dynamic young ladies in the studio with me. I'm speaking of Miss Jessica Braithwaite and, of course, our very own Dr. Julissa Hernandez. Now, these two ladies are doing some wonderful things in their communities as well as worldwide. Let me tell you, Jessica is the president of Sunshine Heroes Foundation. As I mentioned, Dr. Julissa Hernandez is also the ambassador. Before I bring Jessica in, I wanted to share some information about her and then bring her in so she can share with us some amazing work that she's doing across the world. You know, just a little bit about Jessica. She started the Sunshine Heroes in 2008 and has enjoyed her many roles and positions throughout the years. She's completed projects all over the world and finds friends that feel like family everywhere she goes. Her dedication to philanthropy has pushed her to do more and more in the quest to show kindness and compassion to those who are suffering in the world. How amazing and beautiful is that? I do believe that I have Jessica in the studio with me. Jessica, how are you? And welcome to the Ladies Lounge.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here, and thank you for asking me.
Yes, I'm excited to have you. You know, I've heard some wonderful and amazing things about your organization, of course, through my good friend, Dr. Julissa Hernandez, and I'm just excited to learn more about Sunshine Heroes. If you will, Jessica, if you could just share a little bit more about you, that would be great.
Yes, I started volunteering for Sunshine Heroes in 2008. Sunshine Heroes got started in 2007, actually. It's a local to Provo, Utah, children's nonprofit that started in 2007 with Travis Hansen and his wife, Laurie. Travis played BYU basketball. It got drafted to the NBA and then eventually played in EuroLeague for Dynamo Moscow. And they moved to Russia, but Laurie, his wife, was lonely because of Travis's busy traveling schedule, so she decided to look outside of her own problems and try to help children that were struggling. And what she found through friends in Moscow was a children's hospital in Lyubertsy, Russia, where most of the children were orphaned and living in heart-wrenching conditions. And Laurie would go and hold the babies, and her heart just ached every time she was there. And so she went to Travis and told him that they had to try and do something. So they decided to completely renovate the children's hospital, and really that's where kind of the bug started. They put in new equipment, upgraded the rooms, bathrooms, and plumbing, and replaced windows. They brought in toys and books and mobiles for the kids, all in really bright, happy colors, and they also provided life-saving operations for some of the children and created a group of volunteers to hold and feed and play with the babies. And so Travis and Laurie's compassion and drive to improve the lives of the children led to the creation of the Sunshine Heroes Foundation. And it's just gone on from there. We've done projects all over the world, and it's been just an honor to be part of.
Awesome and amazing. I do believe that we have been joined by Dr. Julissa Hernandez. Dr. Julissa, hello and welcome to the Ladies Lounge. How are you this evening?
Hello, ladies. I'm doing absolutely exquisitely awesome now that I'm here with both of you.
Awesome. Well, we've had the opportunity to speak with Jessica just briefly in reference to Sunshine Heroes and what she's been doing with the organization. But if you will, Dr. Julissa, if you could just take a moment to share with the ladies here in the lounge a little bit about who you are and the position you hold with Sunshine Heroes.
Oh, thank you so much, Kathy. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. Just so everyone knows, both of you are very dear friends of mine. And for the Source family listening in, I'm Dr. Julissa Hernandez, a naturopathic doctor, practicing now for going on 21 years, an international speaker of natural medicine and teacher of natural medicine, and a radio television personality as well. But my true passion on top of helping others achieve optimum health is also in helping as many as I can through donation and so on, helping children in need. I've found such joy to be able to contribute for the past 8 years to a foundation like Sunshine Heroes, and was floored and absolutely honored and completely surprised to have been the first of those donators to be invited to an opening of a Sunshine Children's Center this past November 2015. Jessica called me up and told me, we would like you to come to Panama with us and when we open up the new center. And I was floored after that experience. And because I do some charity work on my own with children in Dominican Republic and Mexico and so on, she then gave me the honor of being their newest ambassador, and I'm just ready to take on this position however she sees fit for me to take it on. So,
how amazing is that? Well, ladies, definitely thank you so much for being here in the lounge. I want to jump right into it because I've had the opportunity to take a look at the organization, and of course, I live through the organization through Dr. Julissa, Jessica. So when she posts her pictures from Panama, I'm like, oh, how beautiful is that? How touching is that? Talk to us a little bit about the organization. Exactly what is it that you're doing to assist the children across the world?
Yes, it is the most wonderful, rewarding experience. We started out doing the project in Russia. The next 2 years, we built 2 schools in Mali, Africa. In 2011, we started a health center in Birendranagar, Nepal. 2012, we purchased clean water filters for 50 schools in Zhongwei, China, affecting 30,000 children a year. In 2013, we outfitted 4 entire remote Karen Hill tribe villages in northern Thailand with 200 biosand water filters, and those last a minimum of 20 years. In 2014, we built a children's health center, which included a library and a playground in Ojochal, Nicaragua. And then in 2015, we did our project in Panama, where it was also a children's center with a health clinic and library and playground. And it's the first English first aid station in Panama, and so it's really a privilege to be doing these projects and really strengthening families. We're helping children, strengthening families as we're going.
I love that. I love that. Now, let me ask you this. When you're visiting the countries and the cities, how do you begin to assess the need? Now, you mentioned, there was a hospital that you outfitted. You mentioned taking clean water, but how do you go in and assess the need and be able to do the work that you're out to do for them? Talk to us a little bit about that.
So we have adopted a way of going about things that we think really, really works well. We always partner with another foundation. And what that does is gives us the opportunity to use their expertise, their connections in the community, so that after the project is done, when we pull out, the local people have support. So they know the needs, they know how to get things done efficiently. The money that we bring in stays within the community. And so it's been really, really wonderful to partner with these other foundations. 100% of all of the donations that we get goes to the projects. Nature Sunshine Foundation, who is our founding sponsor, corporate pays our administration costs. And so we just have such a unique opportunity to, it's not very often that you see that 100% goes to the projects. And so when we find foundations, they also have to agree to not using the money that we give them for their administration costs. So it's just a really wonderful partnership that we've been able to establish with these different foundations.
Okay. Now, you mentioned partnership with foundations. Are these foundations here from the United States and they're traveling abroad with you, or are you actually going into the countries and partnering with foundations that are already established there?
It's typically foundations that are in the different countries. So with each project, I used to go by myself. Now I get to bring volunteers with me and people like Dr. Julissa, who I get to share the experience with. It's so wonderful. But I used to go in by myself, and what I do is assess the project, go over their financials, take pictures and do interviews and make sure that the money is being used accordingly. and see what the impact is and hear from the villagers or the local people just how the project has affected them. And it's been really, really rewarding and kind of opened my eyes. I have a different perspective on life, being able to see it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to make a difference. So.
That's true. That is so true. Dr. Julissa, let me ask you, I was listening to Jessica as she was speaking in regards to helping the children, and I can imagine that most of the children that you come in contact with probably are the first generation to either attend school or maybe learn the language of English. Talk to us a little bit about that, making contact families there and having the children really grow into this experience.
It was such an honor to be a volunteer with Jessica there and everyone else that came along. With the children, the good thing about Panama is we did find children that speak English. So that was a blessing. Yes, speak English and Spanish. But yes, where this children's center was established in Bocas del Toro, Panama, ask Jessica. This is the first ever that Sunshine Heroes just placed the first ever playground ever in history in that town. So, Kathy, can you imagine these kids got on the swings and they didn't know what to do? Oh my God, they didn't know what to do. It's like they had to be taught how to swing their legs, and they got on the seesaw and they didn't move it. They just got on it and were just smiling. And they had to be taught how to go up and down on the seesaw, and other volunteers that came with us, amazing, kids and so on that we were painting and cleaning up garbage. And when they were painting the trees and painting for example, swing set and so on, the kids were just looking on like, God, I wish I could take that paintbrush. And, then they gave them the opportunity and their eyes lit up. And simple little things like that I know kids here, we take advantage. They take it for granted, things like that. Right. And Jessica could tell you more. I was so honored to be part of something like that. So, the center that they just put has Wi-Fi and, like she said, health classes, first aid classes, the first ever established in this community. So it was amazing to be a part of that.
Wow. And Jessica, I want to just elaborate a little bit more because you're going into countries that are considered third world, correct?
Yes. Where it's mostly needed, yes.
And that's what I was going to say. Mostly what you've mentioned this evening in regards to, fresh, clean water, clothing, just the necessary things that we have here that we often take for granted they don't have. Just as Dr. Julissa stated, the playground was built. They never had one, and the children have never experienced being able to play freely. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know for me that would have been a disheartening feeling, but a happy feeling also, because I would have given someone something that they've never had. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many projects and so many experiences that have touched my heart. I'll talk about Nepal, a project that we did in Nepal. I got into Nepal and took a plane to Birunjanagar, Nepal, and then took a motorcycle from Birunjanagar to Korak village and hiked in the jungle for an hour, hour back. These kids had this little tiny village out in the jungle in Nepal. They hadn't seen a Caucasian person, and none of them spoke English. None of them spoke a word of English. We came in, we were doing a health clinic, and most of these people had never had any kind of health care at all, and it was like being on a TV show. It was so surreal. The villagers came and surrounded me, and they actually kept touching my arm because I had arm hair, and they didn't have arm hair. And they'd pet I have really long brown hair, and they kept petting my hair. And I met a woman that in pictures she looks like she's probably 60 or 65. She was this little Nepalese woman, and she couldn't speak English. And as I was interviewing her, and the translator was going back and forth with questions that I was asking her, and she told me that she had 5 kids. I have 5 kids. I was 40 at the time, and she said, I'm 40. And this sweet mother of 5 had never seen a doctor. She had never had antibiotics or any kind of health care. She kept grabbing my hands, and I'll never forget how her hands felt. She was a migrant worker, and her hands were caked with dirt and calluses, and they were thick, and she just kept holding my hands and then putting her hands on my face and saying thank you, and just like Dr. Julissa said, it's something that we take for granted, and it wasn't even just having this health care being brought to them. It was having the knowledge that somebody cared. You know, all of these people that are donating, I wish they could go and see just how important it is for these people to just feel loved and cared for, and that they're important.
I love that. Now, your recent mission was in Panama. What's on the horizon for 2016?
Dr. Julissa.
She's the brain behind everything. I'm just following this woman's lead. I've been donating for 8 years, and I've just loved everything they've done. But now I want to be in every single project. But please, go ahead, Jessica. Please, because I'm ready to hear this.
I am trying so hard. Right now I'm just in the research phase. I typically send out about 30 emails to different foundations all over the world. Mm-hmm. Right now, I am focusing on Dominican Republic because that is where Dr. Julissa's heart is. And so I'm trying really hard to find...
I'll be there in the next few days. Doing some work.
Yes, trying really hard to find a project that fits. We're focusing on building children's centers, and so they will have the library and the health center, and it's just it's a perfect project to help the community, and we can provide clean water at the children's center. We can provide food if needed. We can provide education. It's just an all-encompassing place to strengthen families, to make life better and strengthen families.
Now, with that being said, once you are inside of the country and you have a clear idea and understanding what needs to take place, talk to us. What is the timeline of making sure the project is executed? I know that you're there probably for the timeline, and share with the ladies here in the lounge some of the things that you're able to do on that timeline.
Yeah, so this is when I start. I start at the beginning of the year researching, and I have volunteers that are researching for me as well, and we even have we're lucky that we've got BYU, Brigham Young University, just down the street, and we can pull from their group of students, and we have them researching as well. So then I send out project proposal requests, and with a detailed list of our requirements. And then I typically get back, probably 20 emails from those foundations, and then I weed it down to about 5, and then I do my real research and see if those 5 are good fits. And then it goes to the board of directors, and they pick the best project that works for us. And then I start working with that foundation, and all of the foundations that we have worked with have been just so wonderful at just really keeping us up to date with information and sending us pictures. They'll probably start in the beginning of the summer building, and they get all of their locals. I have pictures of the project in Nicaragua where they had oxen bring in the brick, and we got those pictures, and it was fascinating for me to see just how much more difficult it is in different countries to get these projects done. So then typically November we have an opening for the centers, and then we have the Nature Sunshine distributors come, and which is so exciting because they're the ones that donated to these projects, and so they get to see just what they've accomplished, and it's a really neat thing. So November is when we get to do the grand opening, and it's exciting. It's really exciting.
Wow. Now, do you ever at any time have the opportunity to go back and do follow-ups to see how things have progressed once you have left the area?
So we don't go back, but the foundation is required to send us updates. So I continue to get emails and pictures and numbers, and oftentimes I'll get letters from villagers that's been translated for me, and years down the road, in fact, Nepal was 2011, and I still get emails and messages from the villagers. And it winds up feeling like family to me. To me, it feels like family. These people are close to my heart.
Wow. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Source Nation, we are speaking with Miss Jessica Braithwaite and our dear friend, Dr. Julissa Hernandez. And tonight's conversation is all about Sunshine Heroes, a beautiful foundation that those ladies are working tirelessly and putting together projects for children in need. You know, I want to go back to the most recent project in Panama. And I remember, Dr. Julissa, you sharing on social media some of the pictures. Now, was it just the playground that you all wanted to do in Panama, or were there other things that you were able to accomplish on the mission trip when you were there?
Dr. Julissa?
Well, from what I understand, they started the building of the actual center in May of 2015. Am I correct, Jessica?
Yes.
Yeah, and what I was explained is that we go a week prior to the grand opening when just slight finishing touches need to get done. So while I was there, my jobs were picking up garbage, cleaning up all the garbage. We were with volunteers picking up the garbage around the center, painting, for example, the bridge entrance that came to the center, staining also the floors, painting the inside, outside, and of course getting the last touches done with the playground, swings put in, painting the trees and making everything colorful for the children's eyes to just light up when they come and see it. So from what I'm getting the feel is that Sunshine Heroes goes in a week prior to get those last things done and bring whatever books they're bringing for the library. I know that 150 books were brought in, 8 computers were established in the center. Again, a Wi-Fi inside and outside, kind of like when people can hang out of a coffee shop, hang outside of a coffee shop and be able to access Wi-Fi. First area that was established in that town as well to be able to offer Wi-Fi to the community. So that's what we ended up doing when we were there. A lot of work, and it was pleasurable work, and the kids just were wide-eyed coming over and taking pictures with us and giggling. And, well, I put everything on and journaled everything for you guys to see. So it was an amazing experience that I hope to continue to feel every single year till the day I die.
I mean, it sounds amazing that you've been able to touch so many with the projects that you established in the various countries. Talk to us about how you are recruiting for volunteers and what are some of the things that you're looking for now, Jessica, going into the new year and having with the foundation?
It's kind of increased every year, the amount of volunteers that we brought. I think we'll cap it out at 15 to the projects. It is people that I use for volunteers for local projects typically, and also distributors that I feel I need. I need Dr. Julissa. I need her to be part of this. I felt so strongly about, and actually I had been trying to get Dr. Julissa to come to the projects for a while. I went to Travis, who is the founder, and said, I need her to be part of this. She's passionate about helping people. She has been donating since 2008. She's one of the top donators monthly. She has a good heart. She's a hard worker. People respect and love her, and people like that. It's people that I feel like I can't do this without without them.
That's amazing. I love that. You know, we've talked about a lot in this conversation tonight in regards to Sunshine Heroes. Now, let me ask you this, ladies. Of course, we had a question to come into the studio, and I know that when we talk about other countries and talk about establishing their needs, this one question came in, and I just want to get your thoughts and opinions. This young lady wants to know, she thanks you for doing what you're doing, but is there any help coming back home here in the U.S.? There are so many children that are in need of services such as what you're providing across the world. Do you ever think, or will you ever provide services here in the States for the children of need?
Oh, so we do a lot of projects in the U.S. I know that the ones out of the country get the limelight mostly because honestly our money goes further out of the country. But we do so many projects in the U.S. and currently, I think Dr. Julissa, you don't know this one, we're working on a project in the U.S. that will affect millions of children a year, and I can't go into it yet, but I'm so excited to be able to share it with everybody. But some of the other projects that we've done, we every year used to have a basketball camp. This last year was the first time that we didn't have a basketball camp. Because of Travis's connections with basketball, we would have a basketball camp in the summer and open it up to children in need and give them scholarships. Then we also would do service projects, and the service project we did the last time that we had a basketball camp was food program where we did 1,000 food kits for local school district that had the highest homeless children. And so we filled 1,000 bags with food that they can use on the weekends or during the summer months where they don't have food. We've done school kits for local schools. So at the beginning of the school year, the low-income families that when school starts, the school sends home a list of all of these items that the kids have to come back to school with, pencils and scissors and all of these things. And it gets expensive, especially if there's a lot of kids in the family. And so we did school kits. We do shoe drives. We do coat drives. We got a donation of shoes from a local company, and I heard that there was a need in San Jose at Boys and Girls Club. And we drove out to the San Jose Boys and Girls Club and donated 350 pairs of brand new Nikes and other shoes. And so we do so many projects in the U.S. We've given grants out to other foundations for their projects in the U.S. So we're very aware that there is a need in the U.S., and it's wonderful to have the capacity to help locally and nationally and internationally.
Yes. Good information. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have another question that has come into the studio. Let me ask you this, Jessica, and Dr. Julissa, if you want to chime in, that would be great. But how does one become an ambassador?
Oh, how does one become an ambassador? So how we chose Dr. Julissa was every time I would go to a convention and she was there, she would come up to my table and, how can I help? I want to help. What can I do? What can I do? Just constantly. And really, that's how I became part of Sunshine Heroes. I stalked Sunshine Heroes. I stalked Travis. I was constantly, I'm sure I actually got a little annoying, but it was something I was so passionate about. I really just wanted to be part of something that was bigger than anything I could imagine, all the people that could be helped by being a part of it. And so I really would say volunteer yourself into a position that you want. Volunteer yourself into, if you want to be an ambassador, let me know, and keep letting me know and be available and be passionate. And that goes for other foundations in your community as well. If this is something that's important to you, don't stop. Don't stop. Just keep going and going, because eventually when the time is right and things fall into place, you're included, and it's, anyway, that's how I found Dr. Julissa. I felt her passion.
I think I got a little stalkerish with you too, to be honest with you. Because, well, from the moment the foundation began, from day one, I've been a donator, and Jessica's a donor, and and from the day they presented themselves, before anything, I was signing myself up immediately. So they've been taking that money out of my check every month, and I joyously have increased it happily. But then I think it was 2 years ago, Jessica, that I told you that I was doing things in Dominican Republic, and I know that she's been stalking me too a little bit because she saw the stuff that I was doing. She saw what I was doing alone in Dominican Republic, what I did alone in Mexico, and what I did alone in India with sponsoring a child and so on. And after that, when I got back, 2 weeks after I got back from India, 2 weeks after that I was in Panama. I said, you want me to leave when? Okay, I'll leave. So it's exciting to be able to have the opportunity to do that, to be able to make your own schedule and do that. But 2 weeks after India, come and like, you want me in Panama? I'm there. An ambassador? I'm there. So it was amazing. So she stalked me a little bit. I stalked her. I'm happy that she was able to see because I put out there everything that I do in that because I want people to support and to share the love with me. So I'm honored. I mean, I asked her when she called me. I was driving. I swerved when she told me we want you to be the new ambassador. I said, what? Oh my God, I'm there. So you guys feel my energy. It's just all laughs and just giggles, and we were roommates over in Panama. So it was the best time, and it's going to keep going till the day I die. That's all I have to say.
Oh wow, ladies. Well, I tell you, tonight's conversation has been an amazing one, and definitely I want to commend you, ladies, for really working hard in this organization. I think every child has an opportunity. Yeah, every child has a definite opportunity to have everything possible that they need to live and to have fun. And the fact is that you all are definitely providing that for them. So I thank you for doing that. Before we end tonight's conversation, Jessica, we always end either on some encouraging word or possibly some advice that we have not shared in tonight's conversation. If you wish to contribute, I would love for you to do so at this time.
I think that when you give to another person, you are, in essence, admitting that you have an understanding of the grand scheme of human kindness, and you are living on a level beyond selfishness and beyond greed and beyond your personal needs, and you are living in your higher self. And one of my favorite quotes is Scottish evangelist Henry Drummond. He said, "You will find as you look back on life that the moments that stand out are the moments when you have done things for others." And I just feel so strongly about that if you want to be happy, the best thing that you can do is be grateful for what you have and share what you have and help others. And it's just an honor to be part of Sunshine Heroes. And thank you so much for letting me be part of this radio show and share my joy.
You are welcome. Thank you for being here. Dr. Julissa, would you like to leave with some encouraging word or possibly some advice that we have not shared in tonight's conversation?
Thank you, and thank you, Jessica. Thank you for allowing me to be an even closer part of something so beautiful. And thank you, Kathy, for allowing her to share this with more of the world.